Afghanistan's situation under Taliban rule continues to raise serious regional security concerns, particularly amid reports of governance challenges and cross-border militancy affecting neighboring countries. To discuss these developments and their wider regional implication, we are joined by Dr. Marwan Kablan, Director of Political Studies at the Arab Center for Research and Policy Studies. Thanks for joining us, Dr. Marwan.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Dr. Marwan, how stable is the Taliban government right now? Are there any cracks in their leadership?
Yeah, I believe there are cracks within the leadership between the Kandahar faction and the Kabul factions, and there are quite a few differences between them on a number of issues, including how to manage their foreign, how to deal with the economic challenges, women's rights, even relationship with Pakistan. So there are cracks within the Taliban, but would that lead actually to some sort of internal fighting? That's something we cannot say much about it right now. As far as we see it, the differences between them might not affect the rule of the Taliban in general, because there are no credible opposition to the Taliban right now in Afghanistan, as you probably know. But as time passes and as the isolation remain on Taliban, and as the hardliners, the ideological faction of Kandahar tries actually to keep the country isolated vis-a-vis the pragmatic faction of Kabul, I think we might be seeing, sometime later on, differences between these two factions.
So, is there any, what extent is the internal fragmentation affecting their ability to control the armed groups in Afghanistan?
It's difficult to say right now, but I think it's premature, perhaps, to predict any sort of infighting between the different factions inside the Taliban. But perhaps if these things remain without managing to solve them, or at least to bridge these differences, to bridge the gap between these two factions, we might sometime in the future see further divisions within the government of the Taliban.
Okay, Pakistan has consistently raised concerns regarding the presence of the TT operating from Afghan territory. How do you view these concerns from a regional security perspective?
Of course, this is a major concern for Pakistan as well as for many countries in the region. If you talk about, for example, the Gulf, nobody would like actually to see any sort of confrontation between these two countries, Afghanistan and Pakistan, because we already have so many problems at hand given the war with Iran. And don't forget, after all, Pakistan is a close ally of several countries in the Gulf. And the last thing actually Gulf countries, on top of them, of course, Saudi Arabia, would like to see is some sort of confrontation between Pakistan and Afghanistan over the issue of Taliban's support for the TTP in Pakistan. So I believe that this is something that nobody would like to see. I'm talking here about further confrontation, military confrontation between the two countries. This is why many GCC countries actually are trying to even mediate between Afghanistan and Pakistan, given that some of them are having good relations with the two sides.
Well, at the current stage, what do you think are the main issues driving between Islamabad and Kabul at this stage right now?
Of course, border dispute is the main issue, plus the TTP, the Afghanistani support for the TTP in Afghanistan, which have, according to some reports, led to the death of more than 1,200 people inside Pakistan. So, this issue is extremely important for Pakistan. It's a matter of it's causing instability on the border region between the two sides, and Pakistan actually doesn't want to have another front at the same time while Pakistan is facing India on the other hand, and perhaps also this is something a matter of great concern for Pakistan. The rapprochement, if you want to describe it that way, the rapprochement or the increased cooperation between Taliban and India. Pakistan actually is very concerned about that because there is a belief actually in Pakistan that this cooperation is will be having serious consequences on the security and the stability not only of Pakistan but of course of the entire region.
Pakistan has responded to recent security incidents with both diplomatic engagement and operational measures. How do you assess this approach?
Yeah, of course. I mean, Pakistan would indeed try to defend its interest, especially on the border region with Afghanistan. But it's also actually trying to de-escalate by using diplomatic tools in order to solve the problem with the Taliban. Because at the end of the day, Pakistan understands very well that it's not in its interest or in Afghanistan interest to enter into this conflict. This will actually only serve the interest of India. This is something that Pakistan is very well aware of. So this is why the Pakistani government is trying actually, while on the one hand showing that it has a strong resolve to face up all the challenges on the border region, but on the other hand, it would want to proceed using diplomatic ties, given the very strong relationship between the Pakistani people and the Afghani people, and for the past decades. The two people have supported each other in one way or another under the Soviet occupation or under the national governments of Afghanistan. So I think that this approach by Pakistan shows, in my opinion, very well understanding of the complexity of the issue, not only in terms of local border region, but also the wider regional context that involves India and perhaps other powers in the region.
Well, Dr. Marwan, what are the regional and international stakeholders' reaction to the Afghan situation? I mean, do you see any coordinated strategy emerging?
Not really. I mean, because since the US withdrew from Afghanistan in 2021, we have seen very few international initiatives towards normalize the situation in Afghanistan after Taliban took over power in August 2021. So we don't see much actually of international efforts in order to solve the issue of Afghanistan, because although the US withdrew from Afghanistan and we don't see war anymore in that country, but still Afghanistan is still under sanctions, is still isolated. Very few actually can invest in the country, and the economic situation is worsening, in fact, not improving, especially, as we said earlier, given that division within Taliban itself between the ideological faction in Kandahar and the pragmatic faction in Kabul. The Kandahar factions would want actually to isolate the country even further, whereas the Kabul faction, which understand the logic of building a state or running a state, wants actually to get more engaged within the international system and trying, because unless you do that, you will not be able actually to improve the economic situation in the country, and that could lead actually to another internal conflict. So unfortunately, we don't see much of international concern about Afghanistan since the withdrawal of the United States from the country in 2021.
Well, thank you, Dr. Marwan, for joining us today. We appreciate your time.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.